Hello friends, I hope you're doing really well. If you're new here, my name is Hazel Eirwen and this is my channel Eirwild. So today we're talking about Plastic Free July. Woo! It's been a year since I started my Instagram page and I started it in celebration of Plastic Free July, and I think it's a really good opportunity to learn more about how to use more plastic, to find inspiration and to just share stuff with people that we know about how to use less plastic in their lives. So today I just wanted to do a pretty quick video just to talk about why give Plastic Free July a go, how to give it a go, and some of the ideas that I'm going to be trying out, which will hopefully give you some inspiration of things to try yourself as well. So why Plastic Free July? We all know how bad plastics are at this point. They're filling our oceans, they're filling our ecosystems, they're filling our own bodies. Microplastics are found in human bloodstreams, they're being found in newborn babies. Plastic litter is filling fish and sea mammals and seabirds, and they're being cut open and they're finding plastic in their bellies that they've been eating. And it's just destroying our planet, and the worst part is that it's a toxin which gets in our bloodstream and actually impacts fertility, whether it's human fertility or non-human animal fertility. And we have already seen how much it has impacted whales. They're finding that whales in the ocean are having reduced fertility, and this really impacts them as a very long-lived creature. They barely have any offspring, and then if the ones that are young enough to have offspring are not fertile and are not able to have young, that's obviously going to really badly impact their population levels. And actually, perhaps more of a selfish reason than just the fact that whales need to survive and need to live and have the right to survive without us poisoning them, they're also really important for carbon sequestering, and the amount of carbon they store in their bodies is absolutely phenomenal. So they are something that we should be absolutely doing our utmost to protect, and to do our bit to make sure they're not being poisoned and the next generation of children and babies aren't being poisoned, or doing what we can to reduce the amount that they are being poisoned. Because at this point we can do all the beach cleanups, we can do all of the litter picking and creating innovations to clean the plastic out of the sea, but more plastic is still being poured in by the ton. I think about 12 million tons of plastic is still going into the oceans every year. So it's obviously really down to governments and it's down to businesses to change the way that we do this. But as individuals, we do have our power to vote with our wallet and to make changes in our life. Because I just think, even if it is a little change, even if it's a tiny drop in the 12 million, every less plastic bag or bit of whatever it is, bit of whatever plastic we're buying is making a difference. It's not ending up in the landfill because of a choice that we have made. I think recycling is seen to be a good enough solution to the plastic problem, but unfortunately, unlike glass and aluminium, which can be recycled an infinite number of times if taken care of correctly, plastic can only be recycled 2 or 3 times. And actually recycled plastic has to be mixed with virgin plastic to produce a product. So that's why when you see items that are made of partly recycled plastic, it's normally 30, 50, maybe 70% recycled plastic, and the rest is new plastic which has been made. And plastic is made using fossil fuels, which we all know we have to get off our addiction to fossil fuels. We have to move away from fossil fuels to have any chance of a livable future. So then the plastic that does get recycled for even those 2 or 3 times, it's actually only about half of what we, or even less than half of what we send to recycling. So I do collect all of my crisp packets and bread bags and bags for frozen food and film lids, all of that kind of soft plastic. I do collect that and take that to my local supermarket. And all of the hard plastic does go into my recycling bin at home, but we're still only seeing less than half of these plastics being recycled, and the rest are being incinerated or sent to other countries and dumped in their landfills or going out to the ocean, because we're sending the problem elsewhere and don't really, in terms of we as in the UK government and corporations are sending the plastic elsewhere and letting other people deal with it, but they don't necessarily have the facilities to deal with it. They're just saying they have the facilities to deal with it so they can have the money for our recycling, and then it's ending up getting dumped, and we're not doing anything to follow up and make sure that recycling is happening. And we're not doing anything to support those countries and communities to recycle the waste that we're sending to them. So it's not a system that is working on any level, and we have to get off this addiction to plastic completely. We really, really do. So the plastic that's already here is going to continue to be here for hundreds of years to come. So when do we need to stop using plastic? Like 50 years ago, but you know, best option would have been 50 years ago. Second best option is right now. So I know it's really hard because so much that we're sold is wrapped in plastic. There's no way that I'm going to be able to be 100% plastic free. I don't have a bulk shop near me, so this month I am going to make a trip while I'm visiting someone else anyway to go to a bulk shop. But when you're in a situation where you're relying on the supermarket for most things, either only plastic wrap versions are available or the non-plastic wrap versions are more expensive, and I only have a certain amount of money that I can spend on buying plastic-free products, and I have to consider my own financial well-being as well as the well-being of the planet. So I think there is real value in us doing our bit to reduce our plastic, but really we can make the biggest difference by pushing government and pushing corporations to stop using plastic. And it shouldn't necessarily be that we're giving up plastic at the expense of our own financial well-being. So, how to get involved in Plastic Free July? Plastic Free July have a fantastic website with all sorts of resources and information. So you can get involved by, they suggest picking one thing. So perhaps if you always use coffee cups or plastic bottles or plastic bags, whatever it might be, pick one area. If you're already doing quite a lot of stuff, then hopefully I've got some ideas that I'm going to try this month that will give you some inspiration. But it's not about taking on every single piece of plastic in your life, because that is totally overwhelming. It's about picking one area and then the next and then the next and then the next, and slowly kind of picking off what you can to reduce plastic as quickly as you can, obviously, but without putting that pressure and causing yourself to totally feel overwhelmed and panic about all the plastic in your life. That's really not the idea. But I do think a good place to start can be with a bin audit, so looking at all the plastic that's in your bin and deciding what is the biggest offender. So if crisps, for example, is the biggest offender, finding a solution to buying less crisp packets. If coffee cups, you know, get a takeaway coffee cup. There's some really simple solutions to things. My idea for crisp packets this month is to bulk buy some popcorn. So it's and then cook the popcorn and put it in little pots for lunch. So we'll see how that goes. So you can make these individual choices yourself, but the biggest impact we're going to have is by spreading the word to as many people as possible about Plastic Free July. So they do have resources on the website for engaging people in the workplace, and also it's really nice to just talk to friends and family about how you're using less plastic and maybe offering some inspiration to others as well. The things that I'm going to try this month, as I've just mentioned, crisps, but I'm going to try and do a plastic free shop or a reduced plastic shop perhaps. I have ordered margarine and milk, but I'm putting those as a kind of back stock, and I'm going to try and, well, I know I can make my own milk, but it's whether I can keep up with it. And I'm going to try and make my own margarine. I'm going to try and make my own biscuits instead of buying packets of biscuits. My own bread, which I had been making my own bread, but I was using a bread maker which broke. So I'm going to try and make my own bread without a bread maker, and just try and do some more DIY things to see if I can reduce the amount of plastic and see which ideas do stick, because I don't think in a normal week there's no way I'm going to have time to make margarine, milk, bread, biscuits and all of this stuff. Maybe I will someday, but right now I don't have time to do all that stuff. So perhaps the margarine will be really great and the bread will be really great, and I'll stick with that. We shall see. But food is definitely the biggest area where I have plastic waste. I'm going to visit my mum at the weekend, and she lives in a town where they do have a place where I can take my tubs and I'm planning to get some popcorn, some nuts, some pasta, and maybe some other bits and pieces that they have. I think they're the main things that I wanted to get plastic free. And I think oats are going to be a really big thing. So I've ordered 2 big bags of oats that are in paper packaging from the supermarket, and I think that's going to be a really major one because I'm going to be making oat milk. I'm going to be making oat like flatbread things. Apparently just oat and water, you can make these flatbreads. We'll see, but if it means I don't need to buy the flatbreads in the plastic packaging, that's fantastic. And the other thing I'm going to try is makeup. So I've bought some samples from All Earth Mineral Cosmetics, and they're a company based in Cornwall. And I've just bought 3 samples. I haven't tried them yet, they only came yesterday. So I've got myself 2 different colours of the mineral foundation, which is like it's a powder, so 2 different colours of that, and a finishing powder. So I wasn't sure which colour. Looking at it now, I'm definitely not this colour. Probably, hopefully number 1 is the right one because I'm quite pale. Yeah, so I'll be trying those out and I'll be reviewing those as well, and perhaps looking at other zero waste or zero plastic cosmetics that I can try. I've tried the mascara and I did not get on with the mascara at all, so I do have just a normal super cheap mascara that I bought in Boot. So anyway, hopefully you are looking forward to Plastic Free July. Make sure to leave a comment letting me know what kind of plastic things you're going to try and replace this month, if there's any things you'd like to replace. I think as I said, a bin audit at the start and the end of the month is a really good way to kind of motivate yourself to use less plastic and to have less in your bin. I've got my rubbish bin down to such a small amount. I feel so excited every week, or every 2 weeks even, that there's like this amount in my rubbish bin, and I feel great. But as I said, a lot of that is plastic which is going to recycling, which isn't necessarily the solution. It's just not going directly to landfill from my house. So anyway, that is what it is. I'm going to try and reduce my plastic. I'm going to do a bin audit of all of my plastic, and like a recycling bin audit of all of my plastic, and see what I can do this month, and I'm really excited to share it with all of you. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!